we go on our, what, 4th or 5th lesson. So let's see how your stroke's looking. Let's do the center of the cue ball to the center of the diamond and back to your tip. Very good. Do a couple of gentle ones and then do a harder one. Beautiful. How's the, let's do a real hard one then. Now, and what we want to do is go all the way up, and back.
That's hard.
Yes, it is. Awfully hard. That's really quite excellent. You kind of had a little bit of left spin on it. You're going to try and hit dead center and make that stroke perfectly straight. Try again. Okay, you're consistently hitting on the left side of the cue ball. So you need to adjust that a little bit. And what I suggest you do is set yourself up so your tip's just a little closer to the cue ball for one thing. And line that tip up. Try to focus on the bottom of the cue ball and where it touches the table and make sure your tip is right there. Same thing. Let me look at you from behind. You're not bad though. I mean, that's not way off. See how you're consistently hitting it on the left side of the cue ball? So you're not yet able to find the center of the cue ball. And this is the test that tells you that. This is one to do. And, you know, one of the, I don't know if you've been watching the other videos, but one of the things I discussed when Robin and Mark played the other day, especially to Mark, when you come in and get ready for a league event or a tournament, don't just play 8-ball with your buddies, your teammates. You're not going to tune your stroke up for the match that way. The way you tune your stroke up is to do this until you get it straight. And once that's straight, then it doesn't matter what shot you have, an 8-ball or 9-ball or one pocket or whatever you're playing, it'll be great because this is what you need in order to tune it up, not just whacking around balls with the buddies and giving each other advice. That doesn't improve your game. Time at the table over a long time will improve your game, but it's 10 times faster to improve it this way because you got to figure out how to not get that consistent left-hand English on the ball, right? Because when you put that left hand, you don't realize it, you can't see it, it's happening too fast. But when you hit that ball just a little bit to the left, and you're aiming it at this diamond, if you could see it in slow motion, what happens is you're hitting on this side of the diamond because of deflection from that cue. The mass at the end of the cue tip pushes that ball in this direction. So when you're hitting the ball hard like that, if you're putting probably no more than 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeters of English on it, but that's enough to throw it off by that much. So when you're shooting a long shot, how often have you shot a long shot where the ball's right in the pocket like that and you miss it? A lot, right? Happens all the time. That's what causes that. So this exercise of making sure you're hitting the center of the cue ball, if you can, like before a match, you spend 15 minutes doing this and you finally find yourself able to do it straight, you're going to do a lot better in that match than you will if you just hit balls around with your buddy and you have nothing to do, you have nothing to get from it. You don't have a video of yourself doing it, you didn't look at your finish, you didn't look at the outcome. So this is the way to do it. This is the way to improve your stroke in your game. Look at the bottom of the cue ball and find the center of the ball. Get your tip closer, like that. That's where you want to be. And then, after you do your practice strokes, you want to, you can, put it exactly where you want. Let's say you're going for the center. I can actually feel pressure from your hands. I shouldn't be able to feel any pressure from that. Your grip should be so light, I can pull this back and forth like this. So you're here now, that's the 1, 2, 3. You're looking back and forth and making sure you're dead center on that cue ball. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have a jerky forward stroke. Just concentrate on having a smooth forward stroke, and I think you'll be a lot better on this. Do the 1, 2, 3. If you don't do these counts, you're going to have a hard time improving too. Let's do it. Let's go through, end your tip on the table, pass that ball. There, at least you had you've corrected it. And you've overcorrected it. Overcorrection's a great thing. Now you got to work it back. Find the bottom of the cue ball and then come up. Make sure you're dead center. If you're not dead center, that ball's going to go off. And then stroke smoothly. You're going 1, 2, 3, looking back and forth, making sure your line's right. 1, 2, and then accelerating forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold your tip on the table. Bingo. Now, you didn't hit as hard that time. Okay. I can't tell you how important this drill is for you to do over and over again until you feel yourself straighten it out. And you may have to do little adjustments on your grip, on your wrist. I don't like some things about your grip, and you're still trapping your hand behind your belly, behind your hip. I don't know if you realize it or not. You've got very little space there. And it's better than it was. But when you're constrained, like you're leaning like this to get in, you're going to get trapped behind your hip again. Yeah. But for today, I want to switch over and do something that'll probably be more interesting to you. We're going to talk about the 30 and 90 degree rules. Are you aware of the 30 and 90 degree rules? One of the things I've noticed in playing with you and watching you play is you're not quite sure where the cue ball is going to go. So when I give you a timeout and I say, what is it you're trying to do, you will tell me a place that you're trying to put the cue ball that it can't go to. And so what we want to talk about today is the very constrained rules by which the cue ball operates. It operates under constrained rules. And I'm going to tell you what those rules are today, and they're called the 30 degree rule and the 90 degree rule. You can go way outside of those rules, but you're manipulating that with your English. And right for the moment, let's not use English at all. Let's do this without. So for starters, I'd like you to, I'm going to grab some balls. I want you to see you follow that ball in, stop the ball, and then draw the ball. And see if you can draw it all the way back into that pocket. Let's go. Follow it in. Okay, that's your new cue ball. Now stop it. And now draw it back. Okay, that's not bad. So that's our starting point. We talked about the three things a ball does when you strike it on the bottom, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it starts out, if I strike the bottom of this cue ball and it goes up table, it starts out sliding backwards, right? Mm-hmm. And then it slides, mm-hmm. and then it rolls. We're using those things, the concepts of stop. Okay, let's just go with stop and follow. So if I hit the cue ball in the center without the draw, it slides and then rolls. If I hit it a little bit low, it goes backwards and then slides. The first one is a follow shot. The second one is a stop shot. With a stop shot and the follow shot have extremely constrained rules that describe exactly where the cue ball is going to go within a couple of degrees. And that's this. If instead of shooting this straight in shot, you can follow, and we're going to forget about draw for right now. You can follow it, or you can stop it. If I move the ball over there, you can still follow it or stop it. But you're not stopping the ball, you're just hitting a stop shot. Because if you hit a stop shot where it's sliding when it gets here, and it hits that ball, it's not going to stop, it's going to go in some direction, right? Because it's coming in at an angle. What direction is it going to go, do you know?
30 degrees.
No, 90 degrees.
That's 90.
A stop shot goes 90 degrees. So 90 degrees is easy to figure out. You take your stick and hold it here like this, and that's where that ball is going to go, is right towards that diamond. So if you shoot a stop shot on that right now, it should come right about there. So you're doing exactly the same shot you just did a minute ago, a stop shot, and it should come right here. Okay, you drew it. You put too much draw on it. So we're going to stay within the stop shot, and let's do that. Let's make it a little bit easier. Okay? You want it to be sliding when it gets there. You want it to be exactly like a stop shot. That's perfect. Okay? That always goes 90 degrees. In fact, I will tell you that if you use this as a cue ball, even if it's not a stop shot, even if it's rolling, it comes off of there at 90 degrees in the beginning. But because it's rolling, it turns. And it goes in at approximately an average of 30 degrees. That's 28 to 33 degrees. And that is for any shot that is from a 3/4 ball hit. So if you stand over there and you look at these two balls, about 1/4 of this ball is exposed right now, right? Okay, that's a 3/4 ball hit. So for a 3/4 ball hit to a 1/4 ball hit, this ball will come off at 90 degrees and then roll forward at 30 degrees, plus or minus a couple of degrees. So if you know that, when you shoot this shot, you can make a peace sign like that, and that's about 30 degrees. You go just like that, and you go from your contact point on here to the contact point on there, and that tells you where that ball's going to go, and it's right about here. So if that's rolling, you should come right about here. That's every time you ever shoot the balls for the rest of your life, they're going to do that. And they've been doing it all along, but you just didn't know where they were going to go. Nobody ever told you, right? Yeah. This is extremely repeatable, as long as it's rolling. And there's no such thing as overcoming it in the forward direction, because even a professional is never putting overspin on this ball. There's no such thing as overspin, except it's sort of like the longest drive guys. There's no such thing as a 420-yard shot, except when those guys do it, because they're taking everything about it and forcing that to happen. But that's not ever going to happen with you. You're never going to get overspin on the ball. But the higher you shoot on this ball, the shorter the time that it's spending in a sliding motion. So the more roll you're going to get on it. But the maximum roll is this. And again, except in the extreme, long drive competition setting. Okay, so if you had 3 pros up here and they're seeing if they can get overspin on the ball, they probably accomplished doing it. But they would probably never use that in a game for any reason. There's no reason to use it. So, just to be clear, when I say you're not going to produce overspin when you strike the cue ball with the tip, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about after the cue ball hits the object ball. Yes, there is overspin there. If you hit it dead center, the cue ball comes to a stop, it's still spinning forward, and then it takes off and follows, and that's what we think of as a follow shot. But when you hit it with the tip, you are very unlikely to produce any overspin at all. What you're doing is just shortening the distance over which it slides before the overspin takes place. This is demonstrated. Mike Page, the founder of Fargorate, has demonstrated this. There's a video on Dr. Dave's site. I will put the link in the description of this video. So, the maximum for a rolling ball between 3/4 hit and a 1/4 hit, it's going to be between 28 and 33 degrees or thereabouts. So you can always know where that cue ball is going to go. So now if you have this situation, and you shoot that at 30 degrees, it's going to run into this 6 ball, and you want to get on this ball next. In that case, you would do the 90-degree rule and come down here like this. And you can even go beyond the 90-degree rule. If you have backspin on it, you can bring it back that way. You can't go beyond the 30-degree rule with a rolling ball, but you can go beyond the 90-degree rule with a backspin on the ball. Backspin is real. You really are putting reverse spin on it. Forward spin is always happening at the same rate, but the distance that it's rolling, it's sliding before it rolls, changes the higher up on the ball you go. Does that make sense? Okay. So right now, you're on the 8 ball here, let's say. You want to get out, you just have to pocket this 1 ball, and you want to get on that 8 ball. You don't want to roll it. If you roll it, you are going to run into this ball, and you don't know how it's going to come up, because we already determined that the 30 degrees brings you right here, right? That means 28 brings you here, and 33 brings you here, and you're going to hit that ball no matter what. So this is where you choose the 90-degree rule, and you even probably want to overdo it a little bit and get the ball to draw back towards that center diamond. Okay, now, here's another thing you're going to run into, Dale, is this concept of hitting the ball too hard because you're afraid you won't get the draw unless you shoot it hard. You do not have to shoot it hard to get draw. To get draw, you shoot lower on the cue ball. You make sure you chalk before every shot, especially when you're going to shoot at the extreme edge of the cue ball. But you can shoot this very softly and still get the 90-degree rule to go. But you're going to shoot lower on the ball. Go ahead and try that a few times. I'm going to grab my stick. Okay, you're still not getting on the 8 ball, are you? Okay, let me try. Look how low I'm hitting it. See that?
Perfect.
You can hit that low on the cue ball, and that's how you're going to get this position. People think they have to shoot hard to get draw. You do not have to shoot hard to get draw.
Jumping and hitting low on it.
Well, you need to practice it. And if you don't have a straight stroke, it's not going to happen. Yes, it is. Yes, you are going to do this within 5 minutes. Actually, I think I was a little closer. You can get it a little bit closer and it'll be easier for you.
Stand low. That low.
Right there. Don't overcome it. I'm actually going to hold my hand here. I don't want you to overcome that. I want you to stroke through it smoothly. There you go. You feel that? Didn't that feel good?
Yeah.
You tried to raise up on it. But my hand was in the way, so you couldn't. I'm going to put my hand there again because you got to be able to do this. You're at such that I can't even believe you're still a 3. You're going to strike it right down there like that. Okay, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Look at you. Look at you wanting to raise it up. There you go. Now you're getting it too low. You need to aim it right there. Okay, I'm your bridge now. God, you want to raise that up? I can feel. Isn't that beautiful? Does that feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now do it on your own. You actually have to hit it harder than you did. You got to it. Let's do it again. It's okay. You jerked it. You poked it.
That's why when you were standing there, I was worried.
Well, that's why I'm standing here. I want you to get confident. You didn't chalk, so you got to chalk if you're going to do this. And you have to stroke through the ball, and your grip has to be light, and your stroke has to be straight. But if you do it, you'll be able to finesse this ball all around the table. Bingo. Bingo. And you almost always, on the 8 ball it's okay, but this is great to come off the rail and come out there a little bit. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say that's the 8 ball and you want to get on it. It's almost the same shot. There's no 90-degree or. See, right now you're going to be less than a 3/4 ball hit. You're going to be almost a full ball hit. No, I want you to draw it and get on this ball. Okay? Since you're hitting it more full than a 3/4 ball hit, then the 90-degree rule doesn't apply anymore. Well, it still will go 90 degrees, but you have to draw it to get this shot. I want you to keep working on this little draw shot, this little light draw shot. A little light draw shot.
Light draw.
Watch.
Forgot that part. You don't need chalk.
Yes, I do. Okay, we're putting it at just a slight angle like that, and you're doing this. You don't have to hit it hard to do that. A little bit hard. Let's do it softer this time. Perfect. Let's use the 30-degree rule to get it on this ball. This is your next ball you're going to shoot. Yeah, now you went 90 degrees there. So pull out your peace sign. Pull out your peace sign, and you should be going right there.
And that'd be a follow.
Now, if you, no. Well, yeah, it's follow. But you came way over here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a draw shot. You hit it 90 degrees. 90 degrees on this is something like this. You want to follow it into this rail. Come out here, and come over there. You see that? This shot comes up all the time in 8-ball. And what people do is they hit it and they end up right here. You have to strike it hard and let the 30-degree rule carry that ball around the table. Okay? So let's talk about what just happened there. So we understand what a quarter ball hit to a 3/4 ball hit is, right? So if I look at this right now, and I'm cutting that to that pocket, if this is the line this ball's taking, when I look down that line, I see a quarter of the ball, object ball exposed. That's a quarter ball hit. I mean a 3/4 ball hit, and this is a quarter ball hit, right? So I'm going to talk about momentum. That is, how far is the cue ball going to roll when you shoot that shot? So if we put it back here again, if I am here and I hit this cue ball at a certain speed, so it's going to come off that rail there. Let's see how hard I have to hit it to come out here and get on this ball. Okay, I got on the ball, but it was a little bit hard, so let's go a little bit softer. Okay, that was a little bit light, so I need to go a little bit harder. So we're going to get our speed set. Well, that's going to be pretty good, isn't it? So if I now have a contact with a ball in between, if I hit that with a 1/4 ball hit, 3/4 of the energy that I delivered to the cue ball is going to be carried through. If I hit it with a 3/4 ball hit, only 1/4 of the energy is going to follow through. So if I want this cue ball to come around here like this, like I just did, I have to hit it 4 times harder when I'm doing a 1/4 ball hit in between. Because this ball is transferring 3/4 of its momentum to that ball. How you hit that ball will exactly determine how you have to adjust your speed to get to the next ball. So I have to hit this 4 times as hard as I did that. 4 times as hard. Let's see if I can do that. So I'm doing a 3/4 ball hit. I'm going to add some English to it. See how hard I had to hit that to get the same amount of distance? Because 3/4 of its energy was removed when it struck that other ball. So,
Try to cheat the pocket there?
well, you can. There are different ways to get speed, but the concept I want to get across to you is, if I'm hitting the ball like this and I want to come off that rail and come over here, let's say this is my next shot, I'm hitting about a 7/8 ball hit, so I have to hit that 8 times as hard as I would. So if I do this shot and I get over here to shoot that ball, I have to shoot this shot 8 times harder.
Yeah.
And what most threes will do is go like this. Now what do I do? Now what? Now what? Oh, geez, I can do this. Well, can you do this better?
Yes.
To do that, you have to hit that ball 8 times as hard. 8 times as hard. Eight times as hard. This is so important. When you understand this, you'll be sending that cue ball around the table like you won't believe.
I like it.
So if I'm cutting a ball in like this, okay, let's check out. If my next shot's going to be down here, let's say. So let's just free the cue ball up and see what does it take for me to get all the way down there. Well, that's a lag shot, right? Okay, there I am on that ball. Now if I'm like this, if I shoot it at lag speed, and I'm going to do that, look at how far I get. Because it's a half ball hit, 50% of the energy was taken away, so I have to hit it twice as hard. I have to hit it twice as hard to do that. So I'm hitting it as if before I was going up and down the table. Now I have to hit it hard enough to go up and down and up and down again. And I'm judging that by looking at, is it a quarter ball hit, is it a half ball hit? If it's a thin slice, let's say I'm shooting a shot like this, and I want to get on that ball, I'm barely going to lose any energy on this, right? Because I'm barely hitting that ball. And so I can hit it at the same speed as if I was lagging the ball that far. So this shot and this shot, see that? That shot and this shot are almost the same because I'm barely cutting that ball. So I'm going to shoot it at just slightly higher speed than I did this one, and I'll get down here. See, I shot it too hard. But that's because I overcut the ball too. If I overcut the ball, it's going to go faster and further. These are the dynamics that allow you to take a shot like this and go literally anywhere on the table you want to. So let's do this. Take a ball and pretend it's the 8 ball and place it for me. Anywhere on the table. Okay, so if I have it there are a few things I can do. Probably the easiest thing is just to put a little right English on it and then just softly hit it like that and come out for the straight in shot there. Now, I don't like coming across the line like that. I'd rather go into the line of the next ball. You see what I mean with that? Okay, place it someplace else. Okay, so if you place it over there, now this time, I'm just going to cut it in and come right across over here. I can go anywhere on the table from that position if I know two things. What's the 30 and 90 degree rule? Because there are times when I might want to use for this shot I might want to use the 90 degree rule instead of, if I use the 30 degree rule, I'm going to come off here and come over here. But if I use the 90 degree rule, or even put a little draw on it, I can just do that. That manipulation of the cue ball with these 3 or 4 things I've told you about, the 30 degree, 90 degree, and the momentum change, allows you to do miracles. And no more of this, well, I put a ball in and now I look to see what's going to happen next. I know you think about position, but like I said to you, Dale, many times before, I've asked you the question, what are you trying to do? And my brother Bill does the same thing. Oh, I'm trying to do this. And you go, well, it's impossible to do that. But the reason that you think you can do that is because you don't know the 30 and 90 degree rules, which dictate exactly how this ball is going to come off here. Now I can use, why don't you tell me, from the 30 and 90 degree rule, where is that cue ball going to go?
Well, the 90 degree, so go like this, right?
Yep.
So I'll go that way.
Yep. How about the 30 degree rule?
30 degree. When it from here, it's
Okay, you got your peace sign backwards because here's the line, and that's the direction the cue ball is going to go.
Here.
Yes. So it's going to go at that angle. Okay, it wants to go at that angle right there, which is forward. So if I shoot that, it wants to go forward like that. And that is absolutely a scratch shot every time to do that. So when you're in that situation, there are two ways you can get around that. One is spin, but the other is to use the 90-degree rule and simply say, well, I'm going to have that ball stopping when it gets there or even drawing. And when I do that, it comes exactly where you pointed before. Every cue ball shot you take for the rest of your life is going to incorporate either the 30 or 90-degree rule if it's between a quarter ball hit and a three-quarter ball hit. So here's the drill. There you go. So you're shooting at this ball, and you're trying to get on that ball. There should be set right in front of the pocket. And when you get here, it'll be here. So you're going to do that one, and then you'll place one here, 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 and here, and try to get on each of those balls from that position. I'm going to make this a little less of a cut. Because trying the ones you can't do teaches you better than trying the ones you can do. Okay, so you got on that really good. So now you move to the next shot. How do you get on this one?
That didn't work.
There you go. You can do it without English. You got reasonably on it. Let's make that ball. There you go. If you get this down, you'll find you can do it in all kinds of situations. Let's say you're like this now. Instead of that, you're above the ball. You can still do it from there most of the time. Now, one of the things you could have done here that I don't think you thought about, because I told you not to use English, is to get on this ball down here. What if you use the 90-degree rule? Oh, you tried to use 90 degrees? Okay, that's how you got that far over. Okay, good. Because 90 degrees will take you right here, and if you shoot it hard enough, it's going to come there and back over here. Yeah.
But the first time I tried it,
Yeah, if you try the 30-degree rule, it's going to come right across
it wasn't any good.
there, short of the side pocket. So you have to do the 90-degree rule, and you can add some draw to it and extend the 90 degrees. Yeah, see, you're not, that ball wasn't sliding when it got there. Oh, there's the cue ball. Okay, let's go back to the center pocket again, and I want you to do this until you can draw that ball all the way back into this pocket like that, okay? Good. You're getting nice little power draw out of it now. Still not lined up perfect, but. Okay, now come over here and do this shot. Much better. Much better. You just needed a little more draw to get it down there a little further. Bingo, bango, bongo.
I'm on it.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is.
And from the exact same position that you got on balls in other locations on the table. So you can move on now.
Good.
Yeah. Now you're coming over here. And you need more draw, so you can come over straight over here, I think, somewhere. Not bad. A little more draw would have brought you on this line here.
Kind of gets exciting when you know what you're doing.
Yeah. It gets real exciting. It feels really good. And it feels really good to hit a soft draw shot, doesn't it? That's amazing. You can manipulate that cue ball all over the place. No draw. The draw didn't carry all the way. Nope. You're poking at the ball now. You're not stroking it. Just do a nice stroke. You don't have to.
I'm stroking it.
Yeah.
Really missing it.
Just stroke it through the ball. Your tip needs to end up past the ball. Okay, I hit that too hard. So if I keep doing it over and over again, I'll finally get it tuned to where I can get at that ball. But if you're in a game, you're going to overshoot and undershoot like I just did, but you're greatly increasing your chances of making that ball over what almost every 3 in the world does, which is goes like this. Okay, now what? Okay, that's what we want to avoid. We're trying to do a very difficult shot that we're probably going to do 20% of the time, but that's 100% more often than if we do that shot. And you're going to find yourself doing that all the time once you start manipulating the cue ball like this. Because let's suppose there's a whole bunch of balls out here like this, and you don't feel like you can get at that ball. You're on the 8 ball. Your opponent still has 6 balls on the table, and they're in the way, and you go, well, how am I going to get there? Well, you just shoot it that much harder, because if you run into one of those balls hard enough, your cue ball might keep rolling, and then you're playing chances like that. But at least you're not doing this and then saying, now what? That is a losing shot no matter what. This, I might get there 10% of the time. So that's a lot more than 0. So now I'm going to try and get down there somehow. And I'm going to do it by hitting the ball really hard like that, and I might hit a ball and roll down there. But if I don't hit it that hard, I'll never get there. This happens to the skilled player all the time. They're depending on the luck of hitting a ball, but they made their luck because they sent the cue ball in that direction. And it might come out good and it might not, but at least they gave it enough momentum to get there. Yeah, this happens in almost every match. You'll see this 6 or 7 doing shots like that. And you'll see the 3, doing this. And then going, now what? Right? If you watch other players at your level, they're not moving the cue ball in a way that could even possibly get it to the shot. And then you think, boy, that was lucky. That shot I just did where I came off the 4 ball, oh, he was just lucky. No, he wasn't. He made his luck by giving it enough momentum and hit the 4 ball in the first place. This is huge. This is a huge understanding that if you can get this understanding, I want to get that cue ball to the next shot. And if I miss the shot because I'm concentrating on doing that, that's better than being 100% certain. So you can see how difficult it is when you come here like this and you go, man, I got all those balls in the way. I'm going to run into one of them. I got to put draw on this. And all of a sudden, you're putting yourself in a situation where you're liable to miss the shot. But if you absolutely 100% guarantee the shot by doing this, then it's like you didn't take the shot at all. You made it worse for yourself.
No, my instinct, though, to get down there would be to go high right.
Okay, let's see you do it. That's because it's going to reverse off of that rail.
It did reverse.
This idea that you had of, I don't know what the concept is behind putting the high on it.
Just to get it to roll.
What was your instinct for putting high on it?
I wouldn't have to hit it this hard to get here.
Okay, the 30-degree rule is going to work as long as that cue ball is rolling end over end. Whether you start out with high or not affects the speed of the cue ball getting to this ball, because when it's sliding, if you hit center ball, it's sliding and then rolling. So that slide slows the cue ball down. So the reason you hit high on this ball is to start it out rolling. And then you get more distance on the cue ball without hitting it harder. That's the main reason for that. Now, you can have a situation like this. From now on, whenever you shoot balls, I want you to think about what motion the cue ball is taking. Is it rolling like this? Is it rolling back like this? Is it rolling like this and spinning this way? Because that'll tell you everything about what it's going to do. So watch this shot. Okay, I'm shooting a 3/4 ball hit. So the 30-degree rule should send me this way, right? And because the ball's rolling in this direction, it should come off the rail and go out there, right? Well, you have to think about what was that ball doing? Every time a forward rolling ball hits an object ball, its roll, when it hits the object ball full like that, it transfers all of its energy almost to the object ball. But it's rolling forward, so it stops 100%. It goes to zero velocity. And then this ball goes forward, and this ball is still spinning like this. And when it hits this rail, it comes off still spinning like this, and it comes back like that and runs into this ball. So have that picture in your head of what's happening to the cue ball. If you can picture what's happening to the cue ball, if I send the cue ball in this direction and it's spinning like this, it's going to come at a much sharper angle off that rail. And if it's spinning like this, it's going to come off at a much shorter angle off that rail. So a cue ball that is spinning, I'm going to aim right at that diamond. A cue ball that's spinning to the left does that. And a cue ball that's hit in the center does this. And a cue ball that's hit on the right does this. Even after it comes off a ball. So now let's do this shot again. And using spin, I'm going to get on, or try to get on, let's say the 8 ball right there, because it's a difficult shot. So we know that if I hit it in the center or high, it's going to take the 90-degree rule and go over there and come out here, right? But if I hit it if I hit it with right English, I'm going to go way off in that direction, right? But if I hit it with left English, I can come right over here. That's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. So that's what English is for, is to direct how much of an angle the cue ball is going to take when it comes off the rail. Now, when I do that, if I put right English on this, I can send it way down there for the 7 ball pretty easily. And I don't have to hit it hard. Okay? But if I'm using left-hand English, I have to hit it much harder. Let's measure how far this ball rolls. I'm going to get this out of the way a little bit. I'm going to put a tip of right-hand English on this. And it rolled off the rail. It came almost a full length, short a couple of inches. Let's do exactly the same shot at exactly the same speed, but with left English. And where right English caused it to spin off the rail and maintain its momentum, left English will cause it to stall off the rail because the friction is stopping it. So if I hit it at the same speed, it only rolls that far. Okay? That much difference. And if I put more spin on it, then it'll be even worse. So if I put 2 tips on it and I hit it at the same speed, look at how short it comes. That's because if the cue ball is going at an angle like this with the rail, it'll bounce off and keep rolling nicely. But if it's spinning like this, when it hits that rail, it stalls it and causes it to slow down. All these things are affecting every shot you take. And I don't want you to think about using inside English, and I don't want you to think about these sorts of things at the stage that you're at now. You're going to need these things when you get to be 5, and you're starting to have to negotiate more difficult outs. Right now, to win 2 games against a 6, you can get a point with 1 game. So these kind of things will take you to where when you're racing a 6, 5 to 5, you need these kind of things to get out. But you don't have to get out every time. You just need to be more consistent about getting on balls. And to do that, you can do that without English, or in your case, with very little English, and thinking about 2 or 3 things. One is cheating the pocket, like we talked about here, remember? You can cheat that pocket like this with no English and go over there, or you can cheat it like this and go over there, or you can shoot it straight and stay here. Over here, you can do that from this distance too. If I shoot and this is, again, going to the momentum thing. How much momentum am I transferring? So if I shoot to that edge of this pocket, the cue ball is going to go faster coming off that because it's a thinner cut. But if I shoot it more full to that edge, it's going to go slower. So let's try shooting it more full. And it came about 4 inches over from the center. And now I'm going to hit it more thin. Instead of hitting it to this portion of the pocket, I'm hitting it over here. And that little bit is probably going to make a difference. So now I'm cutting it more thinly. And look how much further it rolled.
It wasn't that much more thin either.
No. I had it pretty full that first time. I almost caught the point. So we can actually go quite thin here. Right over here. And that's a big difference. Because if I can make this ball right now with the cue ball aimed right there, the ghost ball. And I can make it with the ghost ball clear over there. Isn't that remarkable? So if I hit it with the ghost ball here, from that spot, that's just about a 3/4 ball hit to get to this edge of the pocket, right? But if I hit it here, that's less than a half ball hit to get it into the same pocket. So the cue ball is going to lose, on a 3/4 hit, it's going to lose 3/4 of its speed and only retain 1/4. On a half ball hit, it's going to retain half the speed, so it's going to go twice as far. So those concepts alone, cheating the pocket to speed up or slow down the cue ball or change its angle, because its angle is going to change too. If I hit this more full to this side of the pocket, I'm going to come off it. Actually, I hit the center there, but it's hard from this angle to do it. But if we come, let's say, up here, it's a little easier. So let's do a full ball hit and see what angle this comes off at. And now let's do a half ball hit. I mean, probably a 3/4. So I'm going to overcut it a little bit. No, it's about a half ball hit. And look how much further it comes. So these things, so what we've got in your repertoire so far is a follow shot, stop shot, which is a sliding cue ball, a draw shot. The stop shot produces a 90-degree angle. The follow shot or the rolling shot, center ball hit and up, produces a 30-degree roll. When you add in your ability to cheat the pocket, on most shots you can get to lots of parts of the table. But then the next thing that we've added in today, besides the 30-degree rule and the 90-degree rule, is the momentum rule, which is you're going to lose exactly as much momentum as what fraction of the cue ball is hitting the object ball. And you have to think about all of these things on every shot. And it's not that hard to do. It's not that long a laundry list of things. So let's make this angle a little easier. You still have some time?
Yeah, but my brain's about to explode.
Okay. Why don't you just, while it's all fresh, spend a few minutes again with this drill. Like right now you should be able to get on this ball. Yep. And now how about this one? Beautiful. And now how about this one? God, you have a habit of not wanting to put it on the same spot. So I want to get you a feel for cheating the pocket, stop shot versus follow shot, and momentum, speed, without spin. So let me give you a formula as you go forward that I don't know if it's precisely true, but at least it puts the thought pattern in your head. How many hours a day would you say you play with your buddies at? 2 hours? Okay. If you can add 1 hour in where you're alone doing stuff like this, you will improve 10 times faster than you will by playing another hour with those guys. I guarantee you. If you can double the time that you spend on your own on a given week or day, you'll learn 10 times faster. That's how much of a difference doing stuff like this makes compared to just hitting the balls around with the guys. You will not improve very fast that way. You'll improve over time. Young people start when let's say they start in high school, and by the time they're 22, 24, by playing with their buddies 2 or 3 days a week, they're pretty good pool players. But they could have done that in a year or 2. Instead, it took them 6 or 8 years to get there. So playing pool with your buddies is one of the worst ways to learn how to shoot pool.
If the stop shot's 90, what was the one with the backspin again?
Greater than 90.
Greater than that.
So real quick. So where's 90 going to take me? I'm striking it right there, right? Or there's the pocket, so it's going to take me right there. Approximately, right? You just go like that. Okay, so let's do 90. Okay, right where I said, right? Okay, now I'm stuck at 90 degrees with the draw shot, with the stop shot. It's always going to go 90 degrees. And with the follow shot, it's always going to go 30 degrees, like that. So I can't go in between. Can't go in between. I'm stuck at 30 to 90. I got to choose one of those two. But with draw, I can extend the 90. I can't shorten it, but I can extend it. So where 90 was bringing me over here, it's now going to bring me back a little bit. Like that. So I have a wide range of possibilities with the 90. But I don't have any range at all between 30 and 90. I can't hit 60. There's no way to do it.
Really?
Yeah. I can't hit between 33 and 90. If it's rolling, it's not going to go more than 30 degrees for a 3/4 to 1/4 ball hit. For a more full shot, I can shorten it. So if I'm like this, I'm very full. Now I can shorten that shot. So if I looked at 30 degrees, it looks like that, right? It would be going right there. But I can make it go way forward, like that.
How'd you do that?
Just followed it. I made sure I shot high, because if I were to shoot center ball here, I would have very little follow when I got there. And the reason is, it would be sliding, and then it starts rolling. But here, I'm starting at rolling. Oh, this was the shot, right? Here, I'm starting at rolling right away. And so it's rolling real good. You can't see it happening, but when I struck that ball, virtually 100% of the energy out of the cue ball was taken out of the cue ball, and it stopped. It stops. This goes forward, and if we're in high speed, it's spinning like this, and then it starts to roll forward again. But it stops 100%. This ball is stopping. Try and watch it. You see it stop and then start rolling? When it stops, it can't stop the forward spin. There's not enough friction to stop it. There's enough mass to take out all the momentum out of this ball, but there's not enough friction to stop it. Once that ball begins to depart, you can see this in high-speed footage. This ball goes like that, it gets that far away, this thing's sitting here spinning like this. And it finally grabs and goes forward. Some super slow motion video from Dr. Dave showing the cue ball coming to a complete stop and then starting to roll forward after contact. So, with less than a 3/4 ball hit, or greater than a 3/4 ball hit, like a 7/8 to a full ball hit, you can cheat the angle. But with a 1/4 to 3/4 ball hit, you can't cheat the angle. It's going to go at around 30 degrees.